Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to another episode of Comment Foolery Exposed. I was over here minding my pretty girl business and I came across a channel where they are streaming about exoticals. They're streaming about my channel and about this niche in general. And if you look at the title of the stream, it says, "Who are they trying to attract? Why are they trying to trigger other women?" So I've said on my channel multiple times that if the content does not relate to you, then it's not for you. My content was never intended to rage bait anyone. So if you watch my content and you become triggered or enraged, you're probably not my core audience. Why is it that everybody else gets to have their own exclusive spaces? They get to do whatever they want. But then when I attract my core audience, and by the way, I have an entire series on who my core audience is. Please check out my 4-part What is an Exotical series. Please check out my What Color is Light Skin series. Please look at my top video on my main page. I literally have a video posted about browner skin, mixed race women. So I know exactly who I'm trying to attract. But have you ever noticed that in the pro-black spaces, they center it around black men? They think it's about black men. They think it's about bashing unambiguous black women. Like, I've been told that this channel is punching down on unambiguous women. That's not what this creator said, but in one of my other comment foolery videos, there was somebody who said that I was trying to punch down on unambiguous women. And it's like, first of all, saying that someone is punching down implies they're above you. But also, how is my content triggering to other women? Like, how is it triggering to celebrate my phenotype, to celebrate the diversity amongst our phenotypes, to acknowledge our privileges, which is what the black community told us to do? The black community said you need to acknowledge your privilege, acknowledge that you benefit from colorism, texturism, or featureism, or you need to acknowledge that you have mixed race privilege. So that's all we're doing here on this channel. We're building ourselves up, and we are also calling out the anti-blackness that is often used against us as a humbling tactic. So notice how suddenly it's triggering. And I think that what's really triggering is the fact that we're doing a good job with our branding and marketing. All of our images that we use are beautiful, so much so to the point where people accuse me of only choosing beautiful women to be in my pictures. And it's like, well, yeah, we are beautiful. But the problem is with the black community, they don't like unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned black features. And this is why I have multiple screenshots of women on Lipstick Alley talking negatively about unambiguous women's features, such as Francesca Rivers, who was in Romeo and Juliet. They did the same thing with, I think it was Jodie Turner-Smith, who was in the James Bond movie, bashing them, saying how, oh, she doesn't look good enough, she doesn't look pretty enough, when literally all she's doing is showing her face in its natural state, or she even has on makeup and she has an afro. So for the people who think, oh, I'm just trying to choose people that I think are pretty and I'm leaving out the ugly girls, that tells me more about what you think is ugly. Because anybody who actually follows my channel knows that I actually ban people from calling others ugly and from calling certain features ugly, because we have all of these features. Like Francesca Rivers, her features, we have at least one or more of the same features. I think people are just mad because this space does not center Francesca Rivers' phenotype. So people are just upset because they're used to people centering them and, kind of making it some sort of victim platform. And so whenever there's a platform that centers a phenotype that is slightly different from Francesca, then suddenly I'm being colorist, texturist, featurist, or I'm being biased against ugly women. And it's like, well, that just tells me who you think is ugly then. And also, if my talking points are so bad and I'm so dumb and I'm so uncreative and my channel is so horrible, then why do unambiguous women care about being represented on my channel? Wouldn't you not want to be represented on a channel that's so bad? Wouldn't you not want me to promote your phenotype on a channel that you think is so horrible? But I think that what's really happening is people get mad when they see you succeeding without them, or they see you succeeding without centering them, and they feel left behind. I've noticed that oftentimes one of the common talking points in the black community is that they feel socially left behind, economically left behind in the dating market or whatever. And so then they want to accuse the other people who they view as being more popular than them as somehow bashing them or punching down or like trying to trigger them. And also, your YouTube algorithm, the way it works, is based on what you click on and what you watch. So nobody's telling you to watch my channel. No one's forcing you to watch my channel. That's something else people say. The algorithm forced me to watch Exoticals United. And it's like, no, the algorithm didn't force you to watch anything. Have you ever noticed how the people who care most about media are the ones who consume it the most. So the women who watch the most Netflix movies and romance movies, they care the most about being represented in romance movies, and they complain and they'll be like, only the white girls get shown, only the light-skinned girls get shown. And it's like, well, nobody told you to sit around on a Saturday and watch Netflix for 8 hours with other women being pedestalized who are not you. So nobody told you guys to come over here and watch my channel if it's so triggering to you. I mean, to be honest though, you are welcome to watch my channel because I get paid off of the views, but you can't accuse me later on of triggering you. You're the one who wasted your time watching content that triggers your insecurities. Because that's another question. I'm triggering what? What am I triggering? Anger? Am I triggering insecurity? Am I triggering jealousy? Am I triggering internalized anti-blackness? What am I triggering? What is there to trigger? I mean, there shouldn't be anything to trigger, right? This next comment is from another kind of pro-black women's channel or an unambiguous woman's channel. This girl said, the few successful black men I know have Asian and Latino women, but those women did spiritual work on most of them. So you know how there's this stereotype that like if you're mixed with Asian, you're mixed with Latin American in your background, you're like a Creole or something. There's this stereotype that like you're doing voodoo to get this black man to fall in love with you or something. And so this girl, she says, black men are terrible in relationships, so white women can have them. I love when black men date out or marry out. This other person says, I can't wait for them to stop existing. I hope more black men become passport bros. Okay, so whether black men or black women date out, you guys are still creating more mixed race people. So you guys don't understand that by talking shit about Asian women and Latino women, you're actually talking shit about the mixed women who have that in their backgrounds. Just saying. And also, look at how much they're pedestalizing non-blackness. They pedestalize non-blackness so much so that they think that these women are spiritually more powerful than them. They're powerful enough to sway and do these spells and shit and mix some herbs and oils to get these men to fall in love with them. Do you see how much they actually deify non-blackness? This person posted me on her community page. She said, these irrelevant mutts are why I said what I said about biracial women. These weirdos are obsessed with Daquan to the max. They're obsessed with black women's wombs and our cultural identity. I can't stand them. I don't deal with them at all. So you can't stand mixed race people and you don't deal with mixed race people at all, so much so to the point where you're sharing my channel on your community page and you're talking about how we are obsessed with Daquan and black women's wombs. Meanwhile, you're the one that's actually talking about mixed race women. Oh, and also not to mention the fact that both the divestment movement as well as black men dating out, you guys are still building our community. You're still building the mixed race community. You're still birthing children that are going to be quote unquote lighter than you or with a different hair texture than you, different eye color and different features. Also, I can tell by this post that she hasn't looked at my channel because anybody who actually watches my channel knows that this is actually a Decentering men channel. The only reason that I even discuss whether it's black men or divestors on this channel is to point out the hypocrisy and the anti-blackness in the black community and how they use that anti-blackness against mixed race people. That's the only reason that I even bring that up. This channel has nothing to do with attracting a guy. Do you see how they always bring it back to it's male-centered? Oh, they must be obsessed with black men. Oh, they're doing spells to get a man. Oh, they think they're better because they have a white man as a father. Like, do you see how male-centered this all is? Anybody who actually watches my channel knows that this is a Decentering men channel. I have banned men from even commenting on here. There are barely any men that are even allowed to comment on this channel. The healed African American woman says, I agree with this post, and this is why I focus exclusively and only on my identity and representation as a mono-racially unambiguous African American woman. I am not in a competition with any race or ethnicity of women, nor do I concern myself with other women's racial makeup. I have more important things to worry about than the skin tone, eye color, hair texture, and who is prettier. I'm an adult woman with a career. Such things don't enter my mind on a daily basis. Okay, so mixed race women or light-skinned women or women with these different eye colors and hair textures, they're so irrelevant and you're so not concerned with them to the point where you're commenting on a community post about my channel saying that you're not worried about them. So you just took all that time to create an entire paragraph about how you don't care about any other women. And then you have the audacity to call yourself the healed African American woman. Here she goes again. She says, right, I'm a grown woman who is attending university and work. I don't have time to worry about these women or their phenotype. I really don't have time to work 12 hours, then come on social media to worry about a woman's phenotype. I'm sorry, but huh? So you work 12 hours a day, and instead of sleeping, instead of resting, instead of going to the gym or cooking dinner, you're commenting on a community post that literally has a channel that focuses on all of the other phenotypes other than unambiguous black women. Oh, but you don't care about those phenotypes, right? The healed African American woman? You just made 2 comments within like 5 seconds, but you don't care about those phenotypes. This person says, exactly. The whole who's cute and who's ugly is so middle school. First of all, this channel never even said anybody's ugly. All this channel says is, hey, we are beautiful. You know, it's an empowerment type of channel for my community. So notice how they're actually exposing themselves because they have a mindset of, if you think you're cute, then you must think I'm ugly. Have you ever noticed that? None of the content creators over here have called anybody ugly or pulled up pictures and said that people are ugly. But do you notice how their own internalized self-hatred comes out? Because they are implying that we think they're ugly. We never even said they're ugly. She's saying it right here. The whole who's cute and who's ugly is so middle school. Nobody was even talking about ugliness. This channel talks about beauty. We are called the Pretty Girl Club. It's not, oh, let's talk about ugly women, although there is actually an unambiguous woman who has a channel called the Ugly Girls Club. So you may want to talk to her about who's cute and who's ugly and how she speaks about herself, because I'm starting to think that this whole thinking you're ugly thing, or Exoticals United thinks that unambiguous women are ugly. They all think that they're prettier than us. No, that's your own insecurities talking, because nobody in the comment section talks about how they're so ugly and we're so much prettier. That's you guys who call yourselves ugly. She says, honestly, that's why when I have women in my circles, they can't be male-centered and concerned about that. Okay, so once again, I can tell she has not watched the channel because she thinks that all of us are male-centered. So, but do you see how male-centered they are, though? Because she just revealed that she views beauty as being male-centered because she knows that we talk about being pretty and stuff. So she thinks that we only think we're pretty probably because of black men thinking we're pretty or because of other men thinking we're pretty. She has no idea that we even talk about decentering men. She's just making all these assumptions because in her mind, you're only pretty if a man says you're pretty. You can't decide that you're pretty. Only white men get to decide if you're pretty. Only black men get to decide if you're pretty. Only the white men who own Hollywood get to decide if you're pretty. That's her mindset. She actually has a male-centered standard of beauty. She says, goes for all races. I'm grateful that now the women in my circle aren't like that and care more about making money and traveling. Okay, so then make money and travel. Why are you commenting on a thing that's about my channel then? Next. This person says, I most definitely agree with this comment. As a black woman, I'm more focused on leveling up my life, identity, and personal image. Okay, so you guys are so focused on leveling up to the point where you're commenting on exotical channels. Oh, because that's very level up focused. If you spent half as much time actually leveling up outside of YouTube, rather than commenting on what we're doing over here, maybe you would actually be leveled up. Beautiful light keeper of God. Shouldn't you be keeping God's light right now? Why are you commenting on a random channel? Especially if my channel is, bad and I have such bad talking points, then why are you commenting on it? You should be keeping the light of God. That's even your username. You know those church ladies that like to act like they're really holier than thou, and then in reality, they're like talking shit about everyone? That's what this commenter reminds me of. This one says, they're creating a whole section on YouTube, and it's so trollish. Someone else says, they look so unhinged and sad. So it's interesting how this person has a picture of the Sasha doll, and Sasha, the Barbie, she actually has a deep skin tone with green eyes and long wavy black hair. So on this channel, I would actually consider Sasha to be a quote unquote exotical. So it's so funny how you actually have that in your profile picture, and now you're saying they're creating a whole section in YouTube and it's so trollish. But if we're so irrelevant and dumb and our talking points are horrible and we're not a threat at all and there's nothing special about us and this movement is going to die out and all of our channels are going to fail, then why are you guys commenting so much on it? You've got 21 people who agreed. So it's her who commented, and then 20 people liked that comment saying there's a whole section in YouTube. So they're not only watching this channel, they're watching all the other channels. Pretty in Between, Exotical Dollhouse, they're watching everybody. The exotic brown skin. Yet we're so irrelevant and so dumb and so biased. Also, if we're so unhinged and sad, Why would you waste your time watching content that is unhinged and sad? Do you see what I'm talking about? About how a lot of people in the Black community, they enjoy harming themselves, they enjoy triggering themselves, they enjoy watching content that makes them angry. And it's like, if it's so unhinged, then just keep leveling up. Why are you paying attention to us? Mind your business. Mind your business. This person says, where was Tiny Harris in her little collage? To some, I guess beautiful to her somehow equals exotical. Shaking my head. For the record, not only have I made multiple videos discussing Tiny Harris, but she is included in all of my collages. And also, if you're unambiguous and you're so leveled up and you've got so much better content to watch than mine, Melanated Vessel 6480, then why would you be worried about what's in my collage? See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So they say, get out of your spaces, then they get mad when I don't represent their beauty in my space. How are you going to kick me out of your space and then try to fight to be seen as beautiful in my space? None of us even said you were ugly, but they're literally mad because I do beautiful editing. That's what it is. Just admit that we have beautiful images over here, all of our channels. We've got girls that make these gorgeous AI photos. I like to put Pinterest photos on mine. The Exotic Brown Skin also has beautiful photos on her channel. So just admit that you guys are mad that we're good at editing over here. You guys are mad that we've got our aesthetic on fleek. You're mad that we're good at creating these images that show positive representations of our phenotype. That's what it is. So if you're so concerned about the positive representations, then you go do it on your channel. I mean, of course, since our channels are all sad and delusional and unhinged, then why aren't you guys making your own channels that are better then? So here we have another image of this YouTuber who has done, I think, around 10 hours worth of streams just about the exotical channels. And oh, and by the way, a lot of people are saying that it's a conspiracy, that like YouTube is like promoting us or whatever. The algorithm is forcing all of the exotical channels to just grow super fast. It's impossible for you to be pretty and smart and good at content creation. Oh no, that's impossible. This has to be a conspiracy with YouTube. But this person says their obsession with Black women represents jealousy, and some are low-key emotionally attracted to Black women for some purposes. So I don't know if that comment is about Black men or if that comment is about these spaces, but this channel was never created to play on the emotions of unambiguous Black women, like ever. This channel doesn't even show that phenotype in my collages. It's not supposed to even represent unambiguous mono dark-skinned Black women, like with the broad features and the 4C hair and all that, because they have their own spaces. So these comments are on a 2-hour live stream talking shit about mixed race people. This live stream was about, I think it was Amanda Seals, who I believe she's multi-generationally mixed or something. I can't remember where her family is from, but this person says 2 hours of straight facts. I like how you pointed out whenever a fully Black woman, never the men, point out something or offer valid criticism, people's brains short circuit and automatically go, you're just jealous and bitter. Like, no, I'm moisturized and chilling over here. You're just not used to us calling out BS or defending ourselves. Everybody else is allowed to do so with open ears, but when we do it, it's a problem. Don't let the Exoticals hear this. They gon' get triggered hearing about themselves. So I love how she says, don't let the Exoticals hear this, as if we don't have thousands upon thousands of people in this community at this point who are all over YouTube. So notice how they can go on their channels, you know, the pro-Black women's channels or whatever, these feminist channels, divestment channels, Black empowerment, all these different channels. They can go on these spaces and talk whatever crap about mixed race people or our community, but then if we respond, suddenly, oh, you're being colorist, texturist, and featurist and anti-Black. Yasmin Nicole says, as a Black American woman in an interracial relationship, I never desired children, let alone biracial children. This reminds me of Candace from Real Housewives when she talked about not wanting light-skinned children, and she's literally with a white man. So this woman could be child-free, but let's go ahead and click on her profile pic just out of curiosity. So the first thing I notice is she's got a picture of a dark-skinned Black woman with straight hair, so she would be benefiting from texturism. She actually would be an exotical fitting over here in this space because she would be pushed out of unambiguous Blackness if her hair was naturally straight. So in your profile pic, you've got a dark-skinned exotical making out with a non-Black man, and then you've got a whole playlist of Black women and white men, Asian men, Black women, interracial relationships. So you're on a channel that's talking all this shit, about the children that come from these interracial relationships. Meanwhile, you are promoting interracial relationships. And this is why I know that this whole conversation, it's not about ending colorism, texturism, or featureism. This is not about social justice. It's about social status. It's about these women who are usually male-centered from what I've seen so far. Usually they're pretty male-centered and they're trying to, I guess, get chosen, whether it's by black men or non-black men. And so for us, we would be extra threatening because we have both a mix of blackness and non-blackness, or we are perceived as having both a mix of blackness and non-blackness. And we're multicultural over here, multiracial or whatever. So we would be extra threatening being able to move in and out of these different spaces. So isn't that interesting? You're on a channel bashing mixed race people, but you're promoting mixed race relationships. This one says, exactly. As a woman from Georgia, my DNA results were 98% West and Central African. Many people of Savannah, Georgia, and coastal areas have little to no mixture because our ancestors were able to isolate themselves from white folks. So again, on this channel, they're bashing mixed race people. You'll see some comments later where they're saying that people are Neanderthals, Ling Ling, Maria. They're using all the stereotypical names. This is really more of a black supremacist type of channel. This is the one that screenshot my channel and said this is why she doesn't associate with irrelevant mutts. So this woman, she's making the purity argument about how, the black DNA is like the more superior one. But if I were to ever come on here and say that being mixed or having like some white DNA or Asian DNA or anything else makes someone superior or it makes them like better because they were able to isolate themselves from black people, this whole channel would be gone if I were to make those exact same talking points. This person says, biracials aren't accepted by the other community, so they compensate by clinging extra hard to pro-blackness while simultaneously believing that they're superior to unambiguous black women. So once again, it's that same argument of your white side won't accept you, your Asian side won't accept you, and so now you have to come in the black community because you're at the top of the black community. So what does that mean? She's admitting unambiguous black women are at the bottom. So you heard it here first. I didn't say it. She's saying it right here. Please watch all of my other comment foolery videos where I have hundreds of screenshots of them calling themselves being at the bottom or calling themselves ugly. Notice how they said that because we call ourselves pretty, then we must think that we're prettier than them. And it's like, since when is liking how you look? Since when does that equate to, I think I'm better than everyone else? So a lot of these women who make these comments have a very hierarchy type of mindset. So it's all about ranking. So they feel like they're at the bottom. They feel like the biracials aren't as high as white people, because Massa, he's at the top. And so biracials are beneath the white man, and then unambiguous black women are at the bottom, according to Toni Morrison. This person says, they're a product of Becky and Daquan, so that explains everything. So if I were to say you're a product of Sharkeisha and Daquan and that explains everything, my whole channel would be gone. But it's okay for you to say they're a product of Becky and Daquan. This person says they claim every non-black woman as black in an effort to erase black women. So she's talking about black men claiming non-black women as black, which I do agree that a lot of black men who want sexual access to biracial women, they will try to claim them as black so that they don't have to admit that they simply don't like their own race. And this is why I, on this channel, talk about decentering men altogether, because I don't want to be somebody's escape from unambiguous blackness either. But at the same time, I've noticed that there's a hypocrisy in the black community because they will claim biracials with black moms sometimes, or they will claim biracial men who like black women. They'll lust after men like Jesse Williams, who is a mixed race man who is very much a social justice warrior. But then if a black guy does the same thing, I notice they get mad. And it's like, this is why I say that black men and black women, oftentimes they're really just two sides of the same coin. They'll make these male-centered talking points, whether it's a red pill man making a male-centered talking point or a red pill woman not realizing how male identified she actually is. This person says, right, everybody else gets to have their own identity, but we can't. Nobody's stopping you guys from having an identity, but I find it funny how you're talking about the unambiguous black women's identity, yet you're making 2-hour live streams about the mixed identity. Meanwhile, if I make any videos commenting on unambiguous women whatsoever, then I'm automatically like getting people arguing with me in the comment section, or I've got people on Krusty Lip Alley talking about me. So it's like, okay, So, since you guys get to talk about mixed race women or these light skinned celebrities and all that stuff, then we get to also talk about whatever we want. And also, if everyone else gets to have their own identity, why do you guys get mad when we call ourselves by a nickname Exotical? Why do you guys get mad when we take back the insult that you guys initially gave to anyone who was not an unambiguous dark-skinned black woman? Because I got that term exotical from the comments section of women like Chrissy and Cynthia G. I think Chrissy even made a video about Cassie a long time ago saying something along the lines of when redbone exoticals don't prefer black men. And it was something about Cassie marrying that white guy or whatever. So the term exotical, we actually just took that back. It was an insult that you guys used against the people that you described as benefiting from isms or being quote unquote preferences and all that, because a lot of you guys are very male centered. So we simply took that back and we decided to make it a part of our identity, just like how you guys took back the N word. You guys take back all kinds of words. So why is it that you guys are fighting to have your own identity, but then suddenly when we have an identity, we've got people making YouTube videos saying you can't be an exotical, you can't be exotic, you can't say that word exotical. It's like, we can say whatever we want just like you can, right? Freedom of speech. This person says, because they are not relevant in other people's spaces except for ours. No one cares about mixed women unless they're considered black. Most of your music icons have a mixed race background. Oh, you know the woman that you guys tried to praise as a black princess who is a divested queen, Meghan Markle? Oh yeah, she's also mixed. So what are you talking about? Unless they're considered black or in our culture. And also, what is your culture? What is black culture? Because this is on the same channel that is actually talking about leaving the black community. This is a divestment kind of pro-black feminist type of channel. So they're talking about leaving the black community. So what are you talking about when you say our culture? What is black culture and why does black culture have to be a monolith? All you're doing is exposing your closed-mindedness. Next. This one says, facts. They want to be black men's counterpart and that's fine with me. I'm sorry, who in this space talks about being black men's counterpart? Because I have not seen not one creator in this space. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen a mixed race content creator of any YouTube channel talk about how she wants to be black men's counterpart. So do you see how they are constantly just bringing it back to black men? It's all about men, 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 men. They want to do this for men. They're trying to attract men. They think they're better because of men. They think they're prettier because of men. And it's like you guys are the ones constantly bringing up men. Somebody else says, nobody cares about them though. Nobody talks about them regarding anything important except being tied to a black male. Once again, that's false. Literally, the Vice President of the United States is a mixed race woman. The mixed community is continuing to grow. It's going to keep growing because you guys are divesting. You got black men who are dating these non-black women. You've got people who are getting with biracials. And so this community is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So we're not going anywhere. This person says, I agree. And now there are mixed channels being created. Okay, but if you're unambiguous, why are you watching mixed race channels? Why are you watching channels of people that do not center you? Why are you constantly following us? Why are you literally chasing us wherever we go? Especially if we're so irrelevant and nobody cares about us unless we're tied to black males. So then why are you following our channels? This channel doesn't even talk about mixed women dating black males. It doesn't promote mixed women dating any type of guy. This girl says, right, the cry racials will always play the victim if nothing else. So whose channels are victim channels? Because last time I checked, the main women who make videos called I don't have pretty privilege and that sucks, I hate my 4C hair, I hate my dark skin women are at the bottom. The main people who are making channels like that are coming from your community. This person says, if the mixed people don't come from black women, they are not ours. For example, Amanda Seales, Alicia Keys, and Drake and Shamar Moore. So they're doing that thing where, once again, they're exposing their internalized hierarchy mindset. So they are placing mixed people with black mothers on a higher pedestal, which they really don't, because they bashed Yara Shahidi. But they're trying to place us on a hierarchy saying that mixed women from black mothers are better than the mixed women from black fathers. So because they hate their own men and they hate their own fathers on this particular YouTube channel, they're just bashing anybody who doesn't have a black mother. And then they also seem to forget that, like, who your mother and father is, that doesn't make you better or worse than a particular person. And also, if you don't like people with black fathers, that would mean that you don't like yourself, because all unambiguous black women have black fathers. So you must not like yourself then, because you don't like women with black fathers. This person says, I don't want anything to do with Blackistan at this point. That's the difference between us and these triracials. Who's in the real Blackistan, though, if you guys are on live streams bashing mixed women with black fathers, you're talking all this crap, you're revolving everything on my channel around black men. You think that like all these mixed and exotical channels are about black men. Actually, the other content creator, she, in her live stream, she was talking about how apparently in this space we want to be trad wives to black men. So this is how I know a lot of these people, they absolutely do not watch our channels. They're just more so like black male centered. And so anytime they think of a quote unquote preference, they automatically assume, oh, you must be having black men kissing your ass. Oh, you must be a trad wife to a black man. These women say they don't date black men or don't like black men, but they're obsessed with who they think black men like. So they assume, I guess, that the black guys must like the people on my channel. Meanwhile, they have no idea that this is actually a Decentering Men channel. Black men actually tend to very much dislike this channel. This person says, the lice spices of the world. So they're making a play on Ice Spice's name, saying that we have lice. This person says, everyone is a mutation from black. That is Caucasian, which is a mutation of Homo sapien and Neanderthal. So they're saying that if you are not unambiguously monoracially black, you are a mutation. You're a mutant. You're a teenage mutant ninja turtle if you're not straight out of Africa with a jet black skin tone. But imagine if I came on here and called black people a mutation. Imagine if I said, if you're a dark-skinned black woman, you're a mutation. If you're a dark-skinned black man, you're a mutation. Like, my whole channel wouldn't even be here. This person says Neanderthals evolved from apes, not us. Okay, so you're saying white men evolved from apes, yet you guys want to divest to these Neanderthals? You guys want to divest and date apes? Or you want to, I guess, remain single and child-free? But I guess my question is for the women who follow these types of channels who already have children who are unambiguous. Like if you have an unambiguous son, I guess my question is like, what are you going to do about that? Or what are you going to do if your unambiguous daughter wants to date a white man? Are you going to tell her that she's dating an ape? Are your children going to be part ape? Like, this doesn't even make sense. This person says, the fact that they can float in and out of black women's spaces as they choose is a privilege that actual black women do not have. So this is actually correct. We do have the privilege of floating in and out of blackness as we please because you guys push us in and out of blackness as you please. And so because of that dynamic, we will always have a fluid identity. So this person here seems bothered by the fact that she does not have a fluid identity. Well, I can tell you that by being on channels like these, it's not going to help your fluid identity. If you think that white people are Neanderthals and apes, you're probably going to have a hard time interacting with white people in real life, or half white people, or people who are part white. Just saying, it's not doing anything to help your fluid identity, Nikki. Now they're talking shit about Creoles. They've got an obsession with Creoles. They've got an obsession with people who have that Creole background, because literally every time I come to do research, there's always something about a Creole person. This person says, Creole, LOL, a whole other conversation. Somebody else, I just seen some mixed women on YouTube trying to say Beyonce is a mixed woman, but no one questions if Solange is. Why? They're actually both mixed. That's you that thinks that Solange can't be mixed because you think that Solange's hair is too nappy. K-sense, that's what you're trying to say. This person says Creole equals inbreed. So they're trying to imply that Creole people would marry their cousins and brothers and sisters or whatever, trying to say that they used incest to like have their DNA. This person says Beyonce's natural hair looks similar to Solange's. So I guess she's trying to say that Beyonce has type 4 hair or 4B hair, because last time I looked, I thought that Solange's hair was a little bit more kinky, but I don't know. This person says Beyonce doesn't look like a preference. So she's saying Beyonce is too black to be a preference. So do you see how they put everything on a hierarchy. So Beyonce, because she is not a white woman, she is not a preference. So they place whiteness and non-blackness on such a high pedestal to the point where they feel like if you have any visible blackness, you're at the bottom because you're adjacent to them, because they're unambiguously black. And Beyonce is mixed race black or light skinned black, whatever you want to call it. This person says 20 to 25% of sickle cell anemia patients in Louisiana are white. You can look this up for yourself. Someone else said, I've seen Beyonce's natural hair years ago. It looks like a regular black girl's hair texture, type 3 to 4. So once again, they're admitting that they find blackness to be regular because they're giving that same talking point that the Mademoiselle gave to Sydney Black when she said, if it weren't for your blue eyes, you'd be a regular black girl. So what she's saying is the only thing that makes you special is your blue eyes. Your dark skin, your broad features, your full lips, your type 4 hair, that's regular. So this person is making the same argument against Beyonce. She looks regular because blackness is regular. It's average. It's basic. This person says, them be black male biracials with the most problems, the ones with white mothers. So once again, they're exposing their hierarchy mindsets. So like I said, a lot of people who have an inferiority complex, it comes from having that hierarchy mindset. So you think you're at the bottom and that everybody else is on a hierarchy above you. So they're trying to do the same thing to biracials. They're saying that if you are fully white, you're at the top, obviously. If you're a biracial with a black mother, then you are higher up than a biracial with a white mother. And then I've noticed with the black mother, white mother argument, they try to make the argument that black men marry non-black women out of self-hate, yet they have nothing to say about the black women who get with non-black men out of self-hate. They act like the only ones that can be self-hating is everybody else except for unambiguous black women. Meanwhile, if you look on YouTube, there are thousands of videos, and on TikTok as well, where there are unambiguous black women admitting that they hate themselves and saying, I hate my dark skin, I hate my 4C hair, I'm so ugly, I don't have pretty privilege, I'm at the bottom. So this whole narrative that it's impossible for black women to be self-hating is laughable to me because I literally have thousands of links and screenshots to prove otherwise. So just because somebody has a black mother doesn't mean that they are not going to be self-hating. I actually have dozens of story times on this channel where mixed women have talked about their own black mothers being self-hating. So this whole narrative of, oh, they're not going to be self-hating if they have a black mom, that's laughable. Because who birthed those black boys and taught those black boys to be self-hating? You guys admitted yourselves that most black men have single mothers because the fathers abandoned them. So that means that the black mother actually is the one who probably contributed to that black man's self-hate. But I've noticed that they don't want to talk about that. They make it like black women just can't do any wrong. It's impossible for them to be self-hating. It's impossible for them to have internalized colorism, texturism, or featureism. It's all the mixed woman's fault, because she happened to be born with a black dad. It has to be her fault because of her background. And then they don't want to acknowledge their own internalized hierarchies that I've exposed in this video multiple times. But this person says, if black women are that serious about their issues, there is something called glutathione, which is a natural antioxidant which is good for you. This can actually lighten your skin healthily and safely. So now they're talking about skin lightening. So you're talking about taking glutathione antioxidant, which is a safe way to lighten the skin tone, yet you have all this smoke for mixed race light-skinned women. These comments are all on a 2-hour-long live stream where they were talking about a quote-unquote tragic mulatto. And you're in here talking about using glutathione to lighten your skin to look more like a mulatto. So do you see the hypocrisy? Oh, I don't like you, and you're ugly, and you're a Neanderthal. Oh, but I want my skin tone to look like yours. This person says the hate grew as the population of preferences grew. Okay, so when she says preferences, obviously she's not talking about herself because she views unambiguous mono dark-skinned black women as not being preferences, of course. So once again, they're exposing their hierarchy mindset that everybody else is a preference except for them. This person says black women are the most attractive women I have seen, especially the dark ones. That's why they keep coming for us. Okay, so if you guys are the most attractive women, dark-skinned, unambiguous, mono black women, then why are you guys calling Francesca Rivers ugly on Lipstick Alley, which is a forum created for black women? So you can't make the argument that everybody talking shit about her was all white. No, they weren't. And I have screenshots to prove that. And I've already made a video about it. So if you guys are the most attractive, then why are you guys not even standing or supporting women with your phenotype? Why are you guys begging to be represented on my channel? Why are you guys begging for my channel to represent your beauty? Why are you begging for white men who own these production companies in Hollywood to represent your beauty? If you guys truly do think you are so beautiful, why are you saying everybody else is a preference and not you? This person says, mixed kids always look a mess. They always have that Down syndrome look, like Lice Spice. So they're literally saying mixed kids are basically ugly and that they look like they have Down syndrome. So, but if I were to say that about unambiguous people, that they look a mess and look like they have Down syndrome, my channel wouldn't even be here. So notice how they can dish it out, but if you were to ever give it back, because a lot of people, they get mad at these spaces over here, they say that we're trolls, but it's like you guys are saying this stuff, and then whenever somebody in this sector gives you that same smoke, then suddenly you want to cry and get all upset. Like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. So notice how there's always this energy of you can dish it out, but you can't take it back. This person says melanin equals fountain of youth. Another person says exactly. They age like milk, just like Becky. Okay, so but a guy just a couple of sentences ago was talking about using glutathione so that your skin tone can be closer to looking like milk. And also, not everybody who has melanin ages perfectly, because there are definitely some people who have deeper skin tones who are dry, their skin tone looks messed up. So yeah, nice try. So that's actually not true in all cases, not to mention the fact that, hello, we are still people of color. We still have melanin as well. So any positive things you say about melanin, I mean, it's technically a compliment to us as well, because we still have that within our DNA. We still have that within our phenotypes. So nice try. This person says they're always bringing up reverse colorism and talking about how black women always picked on them and it was never the other way around. They're very conniving. So you guys literally just talked about how mixed race women age like milk, and then if we bring it up, then you're rolling your eyes saying that like, oh, we're basically exaggerating, like we're just delusional. Meanwhile, I've got dozens of screenshots that I just saw of you, Nikki, talking all this shit. This person says, Amanda, talking about Amanda Seales, Amanda is pressed that two attractive dark-skinned black women, Issa and Yvonne, are doing very well. Where is the colorism when it comes to Issa and Yvonne? Oh, so you're admitting that colorism does not exist in this scenario. And I'm glad that I've got this captured on a screenshot, because this whole blaming all your failures on colorism, it's getting old. There are plenty of people who are dark-skinned who are successful. There are plenty of people who are light-skinned or white and have failed. There are plenty of people who are dark-skinned but suck at marketing. They're trash at marketing. They're horrible at singing, horrible at dancing, make mediocre music. They're bad at choosing teams, bad at choosing their record labels. But of course, the only reason they failed was due to colorism. So I'm glad that I've got a screenshot of this comment right here, which is agreeing with me, which is saying that, yeah, colorism isn't the excuse for everything, because there are plenty of scenarios where colorism actually does not exist and does not hold that person back. I know that colorism exists on a larger scale, but I definitely think that you can be dark-skinned and still succeed. And you can also be dark-skinned and still be bad at stuff. But I've noticed that some people, if you call out a flaw in an unambiguous mono dark-skinned black person, then they'll try to say you're being colorist or racist. And it's like, well, no, you're actually bad at picking what record label to go to, Normani. This person says, I'm so over biracial women. Black women, please keep them out of your homes. Be cordial with them at work and school. They are not your homegirls. Black women have to start treating biracial women like we do white women. Shaking my head. They are weird as fuck. So this actually goes along with what I say, which is how some people in the unambiguous community, they literally treat you like you are the white person within their community. And so this is where some of the animosity comes from, where the resentment comes from. And this all goes back to that hierarchy mindset of them thinking that you are more privileged than them. They believe that they're at the bottom compared to you in cases like this. This person says, black women need to pay everyone dust. Someone else says, right, they need our energy for real. Someone else said, and black women still don't care. Nikki says they survive on our energy. Okay, so if we survive on your energy, why do you keep giving us your energy? Because I have never even heard of this channel until yesterday when somebody shared it in my Discord who follows both my channel and this channel. So who's really giving the energy? I mean, at least I'm getting paid off of the energy. You guys are just commenters. I don't see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in. So it's like the unambiguous community, they will put all their energy on us, put all their focus on us. A lot of times there's this obsession with us to the point where they're talking about the sex lives of Creole people, saying they're incestuous. They're talking about mixed race women and non-black women doing spiritual love spells and hexing these black men into loving them. Now they're saying that we survive on their energy, like we're just these superior extraterrestrials or something who are just feeding off of their energy. Do you see how they deify anyone who is not unambiguously black? This person says, us black women do not care. Next. Black women need to stop participating in colorism conversations altogether. So it's funny how now, once we have our own spaces, now suddenly you guys want to stop participating in colorism conversations. Well, that's because it was not a conversation before. It was really, if it was a conversation, it was only amongst darker skinned black people. It was not a conversation with people who were not dark skinned or with people who were considered more powerful or more privileged. So notice how as soon as we start speaking up, all of these other creators, they no longer want to talk about colorism. They're done talking about it. They're running for the hills. They're hiding in the shadows of YouTube, no longer wanting to talk about colorism because then they would have to face their own internalized anti-blackness. And then especially if we separate ourselves from them in terms of how we see ourselves, then they would have to be stuck with themselves. They wouldn't have anyone else to blame for their own failures. This one says, look at Giselle from Real Housewives of Potomac and her daughters, a light-skinned woman who has dark-skinned daughters. Giselle's light skin did not carry over. So here we go again with the whole dark skin is karma talking point or blackness is bad karma. So if you have a light skin tone and you had a daughter who was not as light as you, that's bad karma. This person says, I don't look at biracial people as black people, especially people who are mixed with Hispanics. So they're saying basically the more racial mixes you have in you, he's going to other you even more. So like for me, as someone who's mixed with 3 different things, I would be even more othered. But I'm going to pull up a picture of Giselle and her daughters. So how is it bad karma, or like how is it a bad thing if Giselle's skin tone and phenotype didn't carry over to her daughters? Like what's wrong with the way that her daughters look? I don't see anything wrong with it. So why is there an unambiguous person trying to humble Giselle using her daughters against her? And also her daughters would still be mixed. So now what? What about the dark-skinned mixed race people? Now what? This person says, good point. I didn't notice that, but when you think about it, Lotto doesn't get hate at all, but Sexy Red is attacked all the time. Same with Cardi B. Lotto definitely does get hate. She got so much hate to the point where she had to change her name. This person says, these women cannot stand on their own as individuals and expect black women to do all of this save-a-hoe work for them. It's weird because the black community loves to claim mixed people's wins. So yeah, that's what happens when you push us in and out of blackness. When you claim our wins as your own, such as Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, you're claiming all these people, pretending like you look exactly like them. You're saying that white men like Ben Horowitz, who are billionaires, that black wives are for grown-ups. Meanwhile, he's got a mixed race, light-skinned woman as his wife, and he didn't even say that. So a lot of these women have spent all this time riding our coattails or fighting to be represented in our spaces. I've even got unambiguous women fighting me because they're mad that I don't represent their beauty on my channel. And then this person says that we can't stand on our own. It's like, no, who really can't stand on their own? Francesca couldn't even stand on her own because her own women would not even defend her. They were in the comment section talking about how Zendaya should have been playing the role with Tom Holland. And then they talked about how Francesca was not pretty enough. And then they said the same thing about Jodie Turner-Smith. They said the same thing about Lupita Nyong'o when she got photographed by Anne Lebowitz. So it's like, you guys are the ones who can't stand on your own or who don't like seeing yourselves in your natural state. This person says, I get no love or attention or even look the way of anyone. Literally, black women are the sun. We rule the world. I am the only black woman, and these people stay needing and wanting my attention and validation. So, are you happy that other groups of women want your attention and validation? Because that kind of reminds me of like how Chrissy made a video where she was like, Beyonce wouldn't be where she is if it weren't for all of us unambiguous black women giving her attention and validation. And I'm like, well, this is exactly what you guys argue against, though. You guys replace yourselves by propping up Beyonce and ignoring Kelly. You guys ignored Kelly. You guys ignored Normani. You guys are the ones who are randomly bestowing this attention and validation upon us. This person says black women are seen as placeholder as well in relationships. Men use black women to get the woman they really want. So now I've got proof, once again, right here, you got a screenshot of a black woman dissing herself and dissing fellow black women, saying that they are seen as placeholders in relationships and that men use them to get the women they really want, which are the quote unquote preferences. So I didn't say it, she's saying it right here. This person says, the people who have immigrant backgrounds do a lot of love spells on black people. I know because I'm in the spiritual community. These Lingleys and Marias will do love work on a successful black man in a minute. So once again, these people are literally deifying those of Asian ancestry. They're deifying people of Hispanic ancestry, saying that we're doing love spells on people and we're just so enchanting, that they're literally worshiping us. Like we're just these fairy mermaid goddesses who are just doing these spells and just everybody's falling under the spell. We're just these Aphrodites and we're on such a high pedestal to where we're doing all this spiritual work and mixing oils and shit to make people just fall in love with us, because there's no way that you can actually be a non-black woman or a mixed race woman and actually be lovable or have success in a relationship. Oh, absolutely not. That is impossible. You had to do a love spell on this person in order to get that. So you just must be more spiritually powerful than black people, is what this person is saying. They're just more spiritually powerful than the entire black community because they do love spells so that they can attract successful black men. And it's funny because people call me male-centered. Notice how half of these comments have something to do with black men. This person says, no financially stable black man will be with a black woman. I thought you guys didn't even like black men or you didn't want to date them or whatever. So why are you guys talking about them and then projecting it onto my channel saying that the people over here are like trad wives, black trad wives? Anyway, what do you ladies think? Do you think that we're just all doing love spells or something, or that it's a conspiracy and the YouTube algorithm is just promoting all of our channels while simultaneously bashing these other channels? What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.